Today, we have invited a special guest to talk to you briefly about why entrepreneurship is very important, right? Particularly in this context of this social, economic environment everybody is living in, not only in Sri Lanka, I think all over the world. It's not easy, right? So we have invited um, Mr. Sachindra Samararatna, who is the Chief Digital Economic Officer of the Information and Communication Technology Agency of Sri Lanka, ICTA Sri Lanka. And you might think ICTA and entrepreneurship, so not matching, right? But in reality, there's a big meaning for that. Sachindra has been in this domain for decades now. So he has implemented various programs at ICTA and trying to connect other spots of resources and entrepreneurs, budding entrepreneurs, resources, try to build the entire ecosystem in Sri Lanka with some success also. So we really appreciative of all his work. So it's our privilege to have Sachindra to give his short speech on as to why entrepreneurship is so important. Sachindra, over to you.
Thank you very much, Professor Munasinghe. And it brings me great joy to be in this discussion and this very important moment, a milestone in our entrepreneurship ecosystem building journey of Sri Lanka. It is very encouraging to hear you, Professor Ajit, and also Dr. Tesara. We should definitely have a chat because my memory goes back to 2010 when I joined ICT and I came to exhibition at University of Moratuwa. And when we were launching Spiralation at that time, so a discussion with students when we were talking about entrepreneurship was a bit foreign for them because the cream of University of Moratuwa gets hired at higher at above market value. Then why do you really need to look at creating a business, and why do you really need to take that risk? So thankfully to people like Tanika, who are some of those early entrepreneurs, I think it's at that stage, and it's very encouraging to hear Dr. Tesra talking about having people who are qualified in entrepreneurship and launching entrepreneurship, and the fact that University of Moratuwa is creating job creators or has a focus on job creators than those who are the highest employable graduates. So that's very encouraging, and congratulations to the crew, to NIA, University of Moratuwa, and all those resource people that have come on board. Thank you very much to them because it's a journey and they're spending their time in this. And it's very happy. I'm very happy to hear that there are 1,500 registrants at the moment. So why is entrepreneurship important? This question, I would say you can easily Google or do a chat GPT and then find out. Networks like the Global Entrepreneurship Network has been there for more than decades with programs like or indicators like the GEM, Global Entrepreneurship Monitor, and Genome, which are talking about entrepreneurship as the way to really impact the economy and to leapfrog. If you want to leapfrog an economy, we have to bring in entrepreneurship and innovation. And then comes to the question, how is entrepreneurship important to Sri Lanka? If you just type it right now, you will get many articles talking about why entrepreneurship is important to Sri Lanka. And they'll bring I think Bing or Google will bring a big yes if you type the answer, is entrepreneurship important to Sri Lanka? And then you'll find a lot of articles, a lot of discussions being held, a lot of panel discussions. Of course, the requirement of entrepreneurs is to solve problems. And Sri Lanka, for decades, have a lot of problems. And we still have a lot of problems. As we mentioned, we are in a soup, we are in a financial crisis. And the only group or only way that we can come out of it, as Dr. Professor Ajit said, is to bring in innovation, bring in new business models. And I will use this term, frugal innovation. Frugal innovation would mean innovation that comes at a cost-effective manner and that can scale into not only Sri Lanka, but also to scale into other countries which face similar problems. So why do entrepreneurs need to bring this frugal innovation? It's because the large companies which are built on certain structures. Some are mostly family businesses in Sri Lanka. Those are high value companies, but they are also facing certain struggles. And because of that lack of agility, because of the way they're structured, they cannot bring in those niche requirements that our society and our businesses require. Because there are business problems to solve, and there are societal problems to solve to, to improve our lifestyles, to improve the way we do things in Sri Lanka, and hence the reason why people are leaving, which large businesses cannot solve. Number two, the government cannot bail out larger companies, even in an economic crisis like this. The government cannot. Someone need to figure out how to bail out our government right now. That's why we are looking at a economy which is centered on export, centered on innovation, centered on investment being made into return, where there is a return on investment, and not assets and infrastructure which will not give a return on investment. To do that, you need to have entrepreneurial thinking. So entrepreneurial thinking that is being brought by this course is not only important to those who are going into business, it's important to academia. That entire golden triangle, it's very, very important to government. It's important to those who sit at the highest seat, to the people who are sitting at the district secretariat office, and to the government Lidari. They need this entrepreneurial thinking to be able to think of ways when there is no government funding, how do we solve the society problems? Thirdly, we are talking about a private sector-led economy. All those other countries which already have passed Sri Lanka, we have seen the private sector leading it, the government facilitating it, bringing in policies that are required to let the private sector free, to let innovation free, so that the private sector will bring in innovation. If Pick Me, yes, it's a model that we had seen before, Uberization, yes, but when Pick Me came in, they had to contextualize this to Sri Lanka. And that's the only operator in terms of the service, in terms of shared economy, that's operating very well in Sri Lanka. And we've seen examples like Nsinga. I think even Imal was a former graduate of University of Moratuwa, which which were able to just in a small time of 5 years were able to build a company which earned a revenue of $1 million and were able to sell the company at $15.5 million. That's a 15x revenue. And that was a technology platform which was for the apparel industry, and it was in 5 countries. So we've seen this impact of what what innovation, what entrepreneurship, and I will use the word startup now. What startups can do. I will differ entrepreneurship, which leads into a small and or medium enterprise business, or what we call a lifestyle business, to a startup. What would I mean by a startup? A startup mindset would mean that you want to scale very fast. You want to grab market share very fast, not only in your own country, but maybe in your target market, which could be regional. And to do that, you would want investors to come on board, and that's why you divest shares, and that's why you don't keep this entire company to yourself. That's why you need growth capital, because still in Sri Lanka, the uh, banking system or the traditional financial system is not providing it, but they're looking at different models. So therefore we go to angel investors, go to venture capital, and then you divest shares, not because you don't love your own company, not because you don't want to steer your business, because you want to grow, because you want to capture those markets. And and this will bring in the solutions to the problems that the entrepreneur is focused on. The entrepreneur is focused on the problem and not the solution. And therefore, the entrepreneur is humble enough to pivot their solution so that the problem is met, that the stakeholder or the customer is satisfied. And that's how companies like Nanosoft, Sanjeeva, who is based in, not in Colombo, based in Kurunegala, was able to build one of the largest financial products for the cooperative system, co-op, smart coop, uh, with a very small time. And then they're growing. And now they have received a round of investment, which is a considerable amount of investment. And this entrepreneur who started his business from Kurunegala in Kuliapitiya, now is registering his business in Singapore to grow into markets like Myanmar and Cambodia. And that's the potential that we have in entrepreneurship when we are able to solve that problem. You all know about Magic Pit. We are also very proud about Magic Pit, also being a company which was part of our spiralation incubator as well. And Magic Pit, when they launched their crowdfunding attempt in through Australia, of course, because Sri Lanka doesn't allow it, we all tagged in, we all shared, we all supported Magic Pit. So the community helps these entrepreneurs because the startup mindset, the startup which I separated from the usual lifestyle business to SME versus the startup, works with the community, works with mentors, and looks at scaling, looks at growing very fast, not in 10 years, but as Nsinga grew, to exit maybe in 5 years to a company, to a larger company, and then start. The serial entrepreneur will want to start their next business. That's the entrepreneurial mindset. And this mindset will not only lead into starting a business, as Professor Rohan mentioned, that this curriculum will give you the essentials, I would say, in our current age to survive. Your essentials to survive in a ever competitive market, essentials to survive in terms of your business, because you are competing globally. And innovation, either you innovate or either you die. That's a statement that I saw on a poster once on a technology company: innovate or die. So this is important to your business. Even if you're an employee, it's still important to bring entrepreneurship where you build innovation from within. But as I told you earlier, because of our large structures in our in businesses that are in Sri Lanka, the large corporates, that flexibility is not there, and hence why those businesses are also working with entrepreneurs, also working with startups. We see a lot of corporate incubators. You would see Hema's launching a startup innovation challenge. We saw Brandix partnering with Spiralation and that providing a grant to these companies. We've seen companies like Demo having their own entrepreneurship arm. So this is very encouraging where the corporates are now working with partners, working with startups. So when we talk about is entrepreneurship important to Sri Lanka, the question we also would need to think about is, yes, now there's entrepreneurial culture, there are startups, there's startup activity. Even in Spiralation recently, we got about 175 applications, which where we shortlisted 60. And from these 60, most of them were from universities among you who are working on your ventures. And we really want the universities to support them. We have about 30% out of our 800 plus entrepreneurs or startups registered on Startup Hill outside Colombo. That's how vibrant our entrepreneurship ecosystem is. But the question lies, the support structure that is there, is it vibrant, or are we just talking about it, or are we just critiquing, sitting on our armchairs, or are there action taken? I'm happy to say that even in the digital economy strategy of 2030, entrepreneurship is a main topic. And the Ministry of Finance, I don't know if you know this, have provided exclusive rights to startups who are registered on Startup SL for all government procurements less than 2 million. That was a big win at that time. Do we have goals in the country? Yes, we do. 1,000 technology startups by 2020, end of 2024 was a goal that we had. And even the Ministry of Industry started a program this year called Get Up Startup. And I think that's about 100,000, all types of entrepreneurs. And there are institutions which support it. There are programs which I'm happy to say have been able to really nurture this entrepreneurship ecosystem. We have a target of 10,000 ideas so that we can funnel it to those 1,000 startups. And I'm happy to say that there are 1,500 applicants who will contribute to those 10,000 ideas. Last year, when Sri Lanka hosted the Global Entrepreneurship Week, we were among the top 10 countries in the world because we were able to hit 111 entrepreneurship activities around our country with 62 partners, which means those who are going to go on this path of entrepreneurship, you need not be worried. There is a support ecosystem. The government, even though without funding, they're trying to facilitate. There are private sector and community builders coming on board. There are many institutions, academia, the golden triangle, academia, the private sector, corporates, and the government is trying. I wouldn't say they're trying their best because there's so much else to do, but with the minimum resources available, is trying to support the entrepreneurs. So I would like to encourage those of you who you are having a dilemma in taking that step. If you're thinking twice, look at the problem, be passionate about your problem, and then take that first step. But validate the solution or validate the idea, and courses like this will help you validate that idea, which is very, very important. And what I will end my speech with is I have about 40 seconds more. Entrepreneurship ventures supports us, our country, and the world to survive, because entrepreneurs will think green, will think about the blue economy, will think about the green economy, will think about sustainability, will be inclusive from the get go. And that's how we will create a new culture, a new wave of enterprises, new wave of companies, because in the future we will not see large companies which employ 10,000 people. We will have multiple companies which are innovative, which 50 to 100 or 200 people, but earning higher amounts of value. And that's where we are heading in terms of our entrepreneurship ecosystem in Sri Lanka, our startup nation. And I once again congratulate and I will support as much as possible and wish you all the best who will start this journey by this course, and thanking all the resource people and all who have come together to take on this journey forward. Thank you, Professor Rohan Munasinghe, once again for inviting me. And let's take this journey forward for our country, to take our country to where it should be as entrepreneurs and entrepreneurial mindset. Thank you very much and have a pleasant evening.
Thank you very much, Sachindra. That was really inspirational. And for the audience, we have many points from his speech. Please remember the two names, ICTA and Sachindra Samaratna. I'm sure some of you guys will lead to the next level after this course. This is the entrepreneurship basic course, and after that you want to have your own startup. Okay, so so at that point, give me a second. So when you move to the next level, which is when you are actually planning your business, your idea to product transformation, one place you must go is ICTA Sachindra and engage in their startup development program. So they have mentoring, they have funding sometimes, and also all sorts of other things. So that is how we line up this entire thing, right? Because this is just the beginning of a long journey, right? You need to know the theories, the information, apparatus, everything in this course, and then you have to implement it in some way with incubator or accelerator, some sort of startup development platform. And after that, you can bring that process into actual business and develop your business successfully. So that is the whole thing, right? And as you picked up from various speeches up to now, this is one very promising way out of the trouble we are in, right? Innovation, entrepreneurship, business development, creating wealth, creating jobs and all that, bringing funds from rest of the world to the country. This is one very promising way, right? We have not been able to do it in a sustainable, successful manner so far, but we should not give up, right? We need to be persistent, and want to keep the pressure on and combine together all of these things, ICT and other agencies, NIA, universities, try to bring all our efforts, energies together to support you guys, the emerging talent in this country, right? Actually, to support them to get to that level of being an entrepreneur, successful businessman who can change this country, right, from the situation it is in right now. So, Sachinda, thank you very much for your insightful thoughts. And we hope to get you back in this program at some point of time. And also, I'm sure some of these participants in this program today, you will meet them in the near future as entrepreneurs or startup leaders. So that is our vision. All right. So next thing is uh, next thing is to show you the entire program you're going to go through. I hope you can see my screen.
Yes, sir.
All right. So now let's get down to nitty-gritties of the program. So I want to ask a few questions up front. Um, can you raise your hands, please, if there's anybody who is unable to follow this program in English language? Because it will be so much easier if we can continue this course in English or with some Sinhala maybe here and there, right? But mostly in English. That's fantastic. So no raising hands, so we will continue. That's very good news. Makes life a lot easier for us. But in any case, if you find difficulties, things that you do not understand because of language, maybe you understand 80%, 20%, you're not very sure. Please send us. You know our course email. I'll show it to you. Send us an email asking your questions, things that you did not understand in the lectures. We will get you the answers from the resource persons. All right. So we'll come to that agreement that we will conduct this program mostly in English. All right. So this is my PowerPoint to introduce you the course. Let me check the chat room also while I'm running through the PowerPoint. Oh yeah, recordings. I'm recording the program. It will be available on the course website. Once you log into the course website, you can see the link to the video, right? It will be a YouTube video. We will put everything on YouTube or National Innovation Agency channel, and you will be given the link so that you can watch it, right? You can offline watch it maybe few times if you do not understand some contents, right? Maybe difficult to understand. You have to review it, right? So all these things are possible. Yes. And also lecture notes, PowerPoints are all provided in the course website. You can download and study, right? Yeah, fine. Okay, so these are some of the questions in the chat room. All right, now look at this, what's on the screen. You are following Entrepreneurship 101. And those who do not understand what 101 means, is the basic course of anything. When you say 101, Fluid Dynamics 101 means the very basic course, right? So we are doing that. But if you look at the lineup, there you can see after inauguration, right, is the course contents, right? You can see over here, starting tomorrow, we're gonna dive into the contents, right? Look at the contents: introduction to entrepreneurship, including design thinking, team building, market research, customer identification, business plan development, marketing, branding, and public relations, costing, pricing, and return on investment, intellectual property management, accounting, finance, and related compliances, business registration, annual filing, and company wind up, raising capital, scaling up your business, labor law and relations, how to build your company for success. So those are the contents of the course. And just a while ago, somebody asked, can he learn how to scale up his business? There you are, scaling up your business. We're going to talk about this on September 23rd. This lineup, right, of these contents, 12 units, we have spent a lot of time designing this program. Initially at University of Moratuwa, and after that at the Cornell University, New York, USA. I got some people, faculty members, to look into this program and develop it further, and I came back, introduced this to the National Innovation Agency. We got it through the agency, and then we put it on the learning management system of the University of Moratuwa. So this is the brief history of how it has been, where it has been, all this long. So I would say this is one of the most perfect entrepreneurship courses probably the world has ever seen, because so many people put their hands in, brains into the program and shape it up into this course. And look at that. Now you only need to spend 6 weeks. If you take the inauguration and closing ceremony out, right? It's just 6 weeks and 12 days, basically. Okay. So it's so concise, so strong, and it's complete program. So therefore, I strongly suggest you to follow this course without failing any of the participating any of these units, right? And also, it's very important that you have your attendance and your proper following of this entire course, because we are only offering you the certificate of successful completion or distinction based on your attendance and your performance in answering the assignment questions. I'm sure you will take this with good spirits to focus on this program, right? On the weekend, evening, away from daily or weekly professional work or educational work that you are doing, if you are a student or professional. Usually this time is generally free. Your time for your family, time for your leisure and all that, right? Sometimes you may have classes if you are a student, but you have to do a little sacrifice of your time and manage your time for this course on a regular basis for the next 6 weeks. So I expect that commitment from each and every one of you. Now let me show you the lecturers in this course. You can see how vibrant this lecture panel is, right? If you look at these names, you have heard some of these names. Mr. Hemindra Jayavira, he's a council member of National Innovation Agency and also a director of Trace. He's a serial entrepreneur. You can actually type any of these words, names on LinkedIn and find out yourself who these people are. I didn't want to spare time, space here to introduce each and every one. They're very high profile experts in their domains. So maybe you can go to LinkedIn and type their name and figure out who they are if you have not heard of them. And Miga Ramitodana is one of the co-founders of Magic Bit. Sachindra just mentioned about this startup, one of the most successful startups in the recent times. Actually started way back when they were students at University of Moratuwa, and they had a development time, and now they are up on the job, right? One of probably the first tech kickstart of this country, Sri Lanka. So Amitodhan is there, and Sankalpa Gamwarge, people know about him. He's part of NIA, and also Nagaru, right? He's like a visionary and a mentor for those who are doing entrepreneurship, business development, etc. Prasad Samarasinghe is my batchmate and is the Deputy Director General of Sri Lanka Rupawahini Corporation, newly appointed Director General. He will come on board and teach you his experience. Fayaz Huda, no introduction is needed for Fayaz. Everybody knows him in this domain, right? He was part of ICTA way back in spiralation, etc. So he'll come and talk to you as well. Dihan Jayatilaka is another great person. He will share with you a lot of experience and a lot of technical details how to get through certain problems. Sarat Buddhadasa is the CEO of business consultancy services, a very senior person, a lot of experiences. Randula De Silva is the founder CEO of Good Life X, one of the successful female entrepreneurs in this country. She will come on board. Tasim Rafi from PwC is also a very renowned person in this domain. And we have my good friend, Dr. Richard Cahoon from Cornell University to come and talk to you about intellectual property. That's his forte. So he volunteered to this program as well. And we have Amali Hettige, who is the manager, University Business Link itself of University of Moratuwa. She's one of the experts in intellectual property domain in Sri Lanka. And of course, she will show you hands on how to do prior art search using patent databases, right? You can learn from her. You can actually do the prior art search with Amali. She will train you how to do that yourself, right? Praveen Ruberu is from Ernst& Young. He will talk to you about finances and all that. And Ranjan Senratna will share his experience about startup building and all that. Venura Velagadar is from University of Moratuwa. He has a lot of in-depth knowledge about the business development. Prashant Premakumar is CEO of Agritmic. He raised his own funding for his startup. He's one of the recent success stories in Sri Lanka. Probably came through ICTA again, right? So he will share how he raised capital so that you can learn from him. It might not be your case, but he will show you different ways how one can actually raise capital for his startup. And Danika is one of the great success in recent times. Again, University of Moratuwa a graduate. He's the CEO of Basha Lanka, Pay Here, etc. An entrepreneur, serial entrepreneur. And Sudat De Silva is the general manager. He's at PM Sri Lanka. He will talk to you about how you run a big business. What are the problems when you get to that level? And Professor Arosha Adhikaram from University of Colombo will talk to you about the law that you have to abide by and keep an eye on how the law works. Otherwise, you will be in trouble, right? Vajira Alepole is the Director General, Employees Federation of Ceylon, PFC. He will talk to you about labor disputes. This is another problem, right? If you are running your company and all of a sudden there's a labor dispute, you are stuck, right? There are so many different problems that might come in your way and stop your progression. So one of the things that we try to teach you is how to get rid of these problems, how to make sure that you do not run into these problems. Because if you run into problem, the moment you run into problem, it will be a few months, if not years, set back. It will be very hard for you to come back, and you have to spend a lot of time, energy, money just to come out of this problem. So your startup will fall flat probably, right? So therefore, make sure that you know all of these things, textbook theories and experiences from your seniors to avoid running into these problems. So this is one of the most important expectations of this course. And we have, of course, Dr. Tesara Javadana, again from University of Moratuwa. She will come and talk to you about expertise. And Mr. Keith Koditwa, who is another CEO, Effective Solutions, very successful startup. He was University of Moratuwa graduate and then had his own company. Now he's in Japan and UK also, developed his business already. He's a big boss now, right? So, what I finally want to tell you about this lecturers, the lecture panel is that um, you have everybody in there. Is university professors, experts in the field, and also from the industry, the CEOs and serial entrepreneurs. I have picked up individuals based on their experience that I know of. So, and everybody said yes. Nobody declined to be a volunteer in this program because everybody understood the value of this program. So, therefore, you're going to hear from the real players out there who are actually dealing with these problems day in, day out. So, therefore, their experience is undeniable, right? So, you don't have to think twice in accepting their recommendations, their advices, advocacy, etc. So we are really privileged to have this kind of very vibrant expert lecture panel in this program. Now, what is the responsibility and duty from your side? Okay, so this is a give and take kind of thing. So we give you certain things and you have to take it and you give something back. So what we expect from you, right? We expect from you successful completion. I want every one of you, right, pass this course, right? I don't want to see any single one failing this course, right? Having said that, I also want to say that we have set a bar. We are not going to lower the bar and you want to raise you above the bar, all right? Because there's a reputation already out there, University of Morocco National Innovation Agency. When you say that, there's a there's a high bar probably, right? And we are not going to lower it. So we are not going to make it too hard for you, but there's a certain level. And we want every one of you to raise up to that level. Okay. So we expect every one of you, if you follow this course successfully, right, you will become a well-versed in business development. Whether you want to do a business or not is a separate matter. It doesn't work for everybody. Not everybody who is going through this program will eventually end up being a successful businessman. It's not the reality. I know that. We know that. But everyone who follows this program will become well versed in business development. And if you look at the contents few slides back, and it has almost everything about the world, how the economy, how the society, how the law, how the environment, all this work, right? So therefore, it's a huge amount of vision development around you. So therefore, you will be very capable, mature, visionary people if you follow this course. So let's do that. Then the second bullet, you will be able to take the right decisions and avoid pitfalls in your entrepreneurial journey. Right? Do you know why 90% of the startups fail? Maybe you have heard that from around that 90% of the startups fail at some point because they are running into pitfalls, because they don't take the right decision at right time. Right? So success is actually getting rid of failures. Okay, there's nothing in between success or failure. If you avoid failure, you're successful. Right? So we want to avoid failures. We want to avoid running into problems, pitfalls. In this course, that is one of the major objectives, as I explained a while ago. So what are these problems? Labor disputes in companies, in startups, even at very early stage. Say you are starting up your business, you are incorporating your company, and 3 months down the line, you have a labor dispute. You are done, right? So it's very hard for you to come back because it's a startup. It's not a big company, right? Even big companies also struggle when they have labor disputes. Not to mention about startups. Startup is like a newborn baby. Doesn't know how to walk, doesn't know how to speak, doesn't know how to handle things. Very fragile. So if there's a challenge, if there's a major obstacle, you're done. So, therefore, labor disputes is one of the issues that you want to keep an eye on. Tax issues, if you find problems with tax, inland revenue departments, you are again in trouble. And there are other legal issues also. You don't know all of these things, right? And IP issues, whether you are infringing someone else's rights, counterfeits, or unfair competition. All these things are new to you. Maybe you have not heard of that. You will run into problems just because you don't know it. Not that you had that sinister motive to infringe someone else's IP, to steal someone else's IP. No, you didn't have that intention, but you didn't know that what you were doing is not right. So because of that unawareness, you can run into problems. And also finance management is terrible in some entrepreneurs we have seen in the past. They're very good inventors, innovators, even entrepreneurs, but very bad in finance management. Don't know about the law, don't know about the IP and all that. They easily run into problems and make their life miserable. We have seen these stories. So in this course, we are going to teach you all of these things so that you at least have heard of it. Then you know, okay, this is the law, this is the IP things, this is how I should manage my finances and all that. So you will not run into problems. You can have peace in your mind and you can walk your entrepreneurial journey smoothly, right? And also you will be able to identify your customer and business model. You know what? We have seen some entrepreneurs not being able to identify who is their customer and what is the business model most profitable for that business and all that. So it's also not very apparent, right? Because we are not going to sell potatoes and onions, right? So this is a different types of thing, innovation, something that the world has probably not seen before. Maybe world has seen it before, but in a different format, and there's something new here. So you have to find out your market, your customer. It's not very clear, okay? And if you carefully figure out your customer and how to bring your product to the customer in the most economical manner, right? You have a big business. For example, whether you want to sell your product in supermarkets, in supermarket shelves, and you have your product, people can buy it. That is one way. Or else you can deliver to the houses online, right? You get the order and deliver to the houses. Which one is more suitable for you? Is there a common answer that selling in the supermarkets is more profitable than delivering online to the doorstep, or the other way around? No, you have to do your homework and figure out which one is most profitable. For some businesses, supermarket model works. For some other businesses, the delivery, online delivery or household delivery is more profitable. So you have to figure it out. It's not just you're thinking, I want to do it this way or that way. You have to do your homework and figure that out. So in this course, you will learn that. So finally, you will know how to improve your chances of getting investments and partnerships. Sometimes we have seen entrepreneurs, they want to do it themselves. Their own money, their own wealth, they are the sole owner and responsible solely for everything. So that is short-sighted. Doesn't work for many startups. Startup development, as Sachin also said, has to be very fast. You cannot take decades to develop, right? You want to bring in investment quickly, not too quickly, but at a higher rate and develop your company quickly, right? So you need to talk to investors, to bring in partnerships and all that, right? When you do that, you have to give something back, company shares. And sometimes we have seen inventors, they become very scared when we say, okay, there's an investor coming in, he brings in money, and you have to give company ownership back. So they are happy about money, but they are very intimidated about giving the ownership back. So this is also because of lack of understanding. So we are going to look at all these things in this course. So eventually you will become a new person if you follow through all of these contents. Your mindset will change. And already somebody mentioned, Dr. Tisar, I guess, about mindset. This is mindset changing. So after going through this course, we want to see you as a different person who thinks differently, who works differently, right? Who behaves differently. So we want to change you, transform you into a better human being. All right. This is the probably last slide. How to measure successful completion in this course. Again, there are certain things we don't want to flex. Minimum 70% attendance in the course. Not today, starting tomorrow. Today, I think attendance is a bit lower, maybe because the first day, technical problems. Probably we can sort this out within the course of tomorrow. And tomorrow evening, we are starting counting your attendance. 9 out of 12 lectures is the minimum. You want to maintain that record attendance. Otherwise, we are not able to issue you the certificate. And less than 50% marks if you got for assignments, it's a failure, okay, unfortunately. And if you record 51 to 69 marks for the assignments, you pass the course. Congratulations. And if you score more than 70%, 70 or more, you get a distinction, right? Again, congratulations. Finally, I want to tell you this. We are issuing a certificate, but certificate is just a document here, right? We don't want to sell this course because of the certificate and because it is free and all that. It's open, it's free, there's a certificate. Probably these are highlights of this course. We also talk about that, but they are not actually highlights. The highlight is that you go through this program, you actually go through this transformation. You change your mindset, you become different, you become more mature, visionary, right? That is the final achievement. So I expect every one of you to have the spirit, right, and engage with passion and undergo this transformation. Now it is Q&A time. So we can spare maybe 20 minutes for Q&A. So if you have questions, please raise your hand and we can give you time. Or you can write your questions in the chat box, or you can send an email to this email address, entrepreneurship.niaum@gmail.com. Please raise your questions. Now this is the QA time. In the meantime, I'm going to check the chat room.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, first I would like to thank then you are giving the opportunity for us. Then
You're
my
welcome.
question, then my question is, can you provide the PDF soft copies of every session?
Yeah. So let me show you the course website. All right. So I think you can see my screen, right? This is the course website. This is what you see when you log into the course website. I think I have given you the details, right? That's why you are here today. And if you scroll down, you can see the announcements. And anyway, announcements come to you as an email. This is the uh, online link, and below that you can see the units. 19th August, that is today, right, this week, and then 20th, that is tomorrow. And already you have this lecture note U11. Can you see that? So
Sir.
this is the
Yeah, I
lecture
can
note.
see that.
This is the PDF lecture note for tomorrow. Mr. Heminder Javira will speak to you tomorrow, and already we have the PDF there. You can download anytime and read it, study it. It's much better if you come prepared, if you can read it before the lecture. You are in a better position to understand the contents.
Right. Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome. Any other questions, please? All right, there's another question in the chat room. Is this an assignment based? Well, it changed. Yeah, whatever. He's asking about assignments. Yes, of course. Now, you can see it over here, the PDF lecture note, and we will post assignments also, few questions that you have to answer. It will also appear here, okay, as an assignment. So that you can download the assignment, you can work it out on another paper, you write down, type it down, whatever, and get a scan of that or convert it to a PDF and upload right over here. When you upload, you have to do that within the deadline. There's a deadline set up. If we post an assignment here, we'll give you about 2 weeks to complete. Within the 2 weeks, you have to submit it over here, right? Then after the deadline, we will download all of the assignments. We will mark it and we give you the marks in the Excel file. So you got to submit your assignments right here, the course website. Do not email it to anybody. Yeah, nobody is accepting email assignment submissions because it's very difficult to manage. You have to upload your assignments over here. You will be given more details as we go tomorrow and the next week and all. When the assignments come in, we will tell you, okay, there's an assignment. You will get an email also. There's an assignment with the link. You can directly go to the website and download and work it out. That's how it works. Any questions? If you unmute and ask, I think that's a better way because then others also come to know about your questions and answers. And also about recording, yes, even today's one, I'm recording right now, and it will make it available to you and send you the link. Okay, you can download and watch these videos later. And there's another question, does this course is linked to any higher studies such as degree or master's? No, the answer is firmly no. This is not part of any degree program. You will get the certificate. So the certificate will have some value, but it's not certainly a part of any degree program. Did I answer all of these questions in the chat? I think yes. Yeah. All right. We have a few more minutes before we wind up. If you have questions, please raise right now. You can unmute and speak, or else you can put it in the chat room. All right, looks like we have come to the end and all the questions have been properly asked. Oh, there's another one coming. All right, go on. Yeah, there's no hurry. So after completed this program, what is next level? Oh, fantastic question. As I said, this is the first course. In this course, you will hear the basics, right? It's like you are planning for a journey and your tour guide is telling you what you are going to encounter in the journey. There's a river, there's a bridge, and there's a river without a bridge. At that point, you have to cross this. How you cross this? Is there a boat or not? And are there crocodiles in the river? Right? And then once you get to the other side, there's a mountain. And how do you climb it? What is the temperature like? Whether it is like normal temperature like in Sri Lanka, say 25 degrees, or if it is 40 degrees, so that you can prepare. If it is 40 degrees, you need to have more water. You have to bring more water with you. And if it is very cold, like 10 degrees, 5 degrees, you need to bring a jacket. So Likewise, this program is going to tell you how you prepare yourself for a journey. It's very much like that. How much food you have to bring, whether you want to get medication, medicines, water, clothing, etc. Um, then you start your journey and we will guide you through to the next level. If you have a bright idea and you have a prototype and you can't sell a prototype, right? You want to convert it to a product. Like, look at the commodities that we use: mobile phone, televisions, rice cookers, blenders, stuff like that, microwave ovens. Is a product, okay? But if you look at the very early stage of this one, they were prototypes. You cannot sell prototypes, so you have to convert that. And how you sell it, and what is the market, what is the price point, and all these things. Later, second phase, third phase of this program, right? Without this knowledge that you gain in this program, you're not prepared for the long journey. That's why. Okay, so this course is extremely important for you to start your actual entrepreneurial journey. Second step, you need to connect with an incubator. You need to connect with innovation ecosystem. Innovation ecosystem. What is innovation ecosystem? We will explain you that towards the end of the course. It's now too early to tell you that. When you actually develop your invention, develop your business, you need to have about 7, 8 different supports from around. 7, 8 different supports from around. If you have these 7, 8 different supports around you, you are in an ecosystem. But generally, we are not in that kind of ecosystem. When I need this one, that one, other things for my business development, I don't have them. When I'm when I need them, of course, right? So you are running your business. You need to have the support required whenever you need them, not before that or not after that, right at that point of time. Let's say funding. If funding is available and you don't have your prototype, you don't need funding. And you have the prototype, you need funding. So funding should be available at that point. And after about a year or two, funding comes, but you don't have your prototype anymore. It's now out of obsolete. You don't need funding again. So this timely availability of different resources for your journey, right, is what is called ecosystem. So we are building an innovation ecosystem in this country, right? ICTA, NIA, we are all trying to stitch different things together to make that ecosystem. You will walk into the ecosystem with your idea, with your prototype, and you can develop your business with a mentor. Of course, not alone. Like I said, when you go through a journey, you're going to say you have gone to parks, national parks, right? Yala, Vilpattu, even Singaraja, or maybe in some other countries in Africa, right? There's always a guide. Guide is a person who knows the place, who has been there before. He will guide you. So again, in your innovation, next step, right? If you have a bright idea, prototype, and you have the courage to turn it into a successful business, we will connect you a mentor. So mentor will guide you through the journey, through the innovation ecosystem. So that is the big plan. It is coming up. So thank you for asking that question. So if someone has not registered yet, but want to join the course, can they do so from next session? Of course not, because we are now house full. We are now house full. We cannot accommodate any single person right now because we are running with maximum Zoom capacity. So therefore, we have actually stopped registration prematurely because we got more than 1,500 registrations. We cannot handle. We don't want to disappoint people. We are already disappointing some people, as the question says. A lot of people want to join this program, but I want to say that, but I want to tell them, be patient. This is just the first cohort, first intake. We're gonna offer it again, probably as early as November. Second cohort, third cohort, all of these people can go through. Actually, the objective is to transform the entire society, as many people as possible in our society, to bring them through this program so that they become different, right? They change their mindset, they become thinkers, they become creators, they become good decision makers. So that is the big picture, the big objective of this program. So we will give everybody a chance to go through this program, but not right now. We can have it maybe 3, 4 times a year so that everybody gets the chance to enter maybe after 2 months from now or maybe 4 months from now, depending on the capacity we can have. So we will advertise this time to time so that those who are unable to join this time will definitely get to hear this advertisement through WhatsApp and all that, so they can join later. There's another question. Are we discussing about standardization organizations? Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yes, thank you, Professor, for this session. My question is, Professor, when we have any service or product, so in Sri Lanka, like any standard bodies, like which standard bodies that we need to follow? Like, are we going to discuss about those things? So,
I'm not very sure, but I think we are not reaching up to that level in this course, Entrepreneurship 101. But where in these particular courses, you can ask any question you want, right?
right,
I think probably how to build your company for success. This one, in
right.
that session, you can raise that question. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Professor. Yeah. All good.
you're
Sure. Yeah.
welcome.
Thanks.
What else? Anything I missed? India is asking. Okay, I missed this question. Okay, so that is the question. All right. So can you include this program about supply chain management? Well, it's already there, but not in to the depth. I think probably business plan development. September 3rd, Randula is doing that. Randula will touch on that. But if you want a further insight, you can ask again about supply chain management. She will spare a little more time on that. Where else can you discuss that point? Scaling up your business. Uh, Again, you can ask this question from different resource person, right? So therefore, I encourage you to have your specific questions answered in the respective units from the resource persons, right? So whether it is relevant or not, don't worry. You just ask, okay? And you will get some insights on these questions. Anything else? All right. So we have taken almost 90 minutes. I think it's time to call the day off. So I want to thank you everyone for joining today. And I hope to see everyone joining live tomorrow for the first session as well. So let's keep the momentum going and keep engaged and read all the materials, submit to assignments, and make sure we achieve our final objectives at the end of the course. All right. So I hope to see you tomorrow, 7 o'clock.